Yeah, hi, Carter. What do you think you bring to a team?
I think I bring kind of like my whole game is about my competitiveness. I think it's just my motor. I'm non-stop on pucks. I always wanted more than other guys on the ice. So I think that brings a lot to the table for me. Is just I wanted more than anyone on the ice for sure.
What do you have any connections or what's your knowledge of the Red Wings?
Right now, knowledge is probably my dad's best friend's big fan. So
Okay.
pretty probably stoked, but obviously great organization, unbelievable. Talking to Steve who I had to call him was unbelievable too. So it's pretty cool. And obviously, like Forty Howe and all those history you guys have is it's crazy. I have no words. It's unbelievable.
And lastly, just what do you think you need to work on to become a better player?
I think just my skating. I think I need to lengthen my stride a bit. Obviously strengthen it a bit and hey guys, how are you? Maybe fix my posture. I think I lean too far when I skate too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, were you kind of surprised? I mean, do you have any inkling that it could be the Red Wings?
I was surprised, and honestly, it kind of lingers behind your mind, like, if I get picked and stuff like that. But it was pretty surprising for me, and I was pretty stoked about it. So,
You seemed pretty emotional and stuff when that happened. I mean, did the moment kind of really hit you hard or what?
yeah, I really did it. I didn't really realize till I was in that building when I saw that down. It really hit me there. So, and yeah, once I got picked in here, I mean, it's a whole different level of emotions for sure. Seeing my parents and seeing my family for sure.
Hey, last one, the Achilles injury. How's that? I mean, are you going to be ready for development camp next week or what?
Um, I'm skating right now for sure. I'm about 80%, I would say. Not really going into contacting yet. So, kind of listening to my physio, don't really want to take a step ahead and, set me back more. But right now it's good for the season for sure, for, upcoming season with Everett for sure.
Yeah, hi Carter. I see you scored 40 goals in 56 games this past season. Can you just describe just your offensive game, your skills, what you bring to the table in that area?
Yeah, like I think create a lot of opportunities with my competitive, wanting the puck and stripping off the demands of the puck and creating plays and obviously I have a hard nose with the puck in front of the net for sure. I think I have great timing in front of the net. Where to be and be at the right spots at the right time and I think I have pretty good touch with the puck when it comes to me for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've been talking to a few people from Peguis this evening, and sounds like there was quite a party going on. They were having a watch party back there. Just maybe talk about
Yeah, no, for sure.
your background, your roots, and what it means to the community to be a role model like you are.
Yeah, like that's might even know there's a watch party, so that's really cool to know. So, and I think I like tells a lot of how much they're proud of me. And, I take that for granted and I'm proud of where I am, proud of where I'm from, proud of my community and proud of my indigenous background for sure. So yeah.
Yeah, and you often hear hockey players to get to this stage, it does take a village, right? It takes a big community. Maybe who's been part of that community? And I imagine you're thinking about all of those people that have helped you along the way tonight.
Yeah, obviously first thing comes to mind is probably my parents, mom and dad. So much for me. I can't explain how much they did for me and how much they deserve more, walking up to shaking Benny's hand than me. So that's how much they deserve it for sure.
And just finally, what's it like to have a hockey legend like Steve Yzerman be the one to, kind of welcome you to the organization? And I guess what are you most excited about kind of coming up here in the next few weeks?
I think it's just about like being a part of the history of Detroit now. It's, a long history and, rich history you guys have. So I think it's just being a part of that. It's pretty cool to be. So
Awesome. Thank you.
You talked about the emotions of tonight. I'm just curious, with everything you've been through with the Achilles, like how much did that affect the emotions that you were feeling when you finally did get to hear your name called?
Um, having injury like that, pretty bummed out when you can't play. with your teammates during the playoffs. It's pretty devastating, but I didn't really want to think that way. I think I tried to take it in a positive way. Going through this whole stage of recovery and being positive all along. It's been pretty good, but hearing my name call, it's kind of a relief for sure, but it's also being pretty grateful of what Detroit thinks of me and giving me the opportunity for sure. So pretty grateful.
And then what do you think you've learned about yourself kind of through this whole process?
This whole draft process, kind of probably being myself, just being myself in those meetings. At the start of the year, you get a little nervous for sure, but I gotta learn to myself, just be yourself because that's what teams want when they interview you for sure. So, and I guess that's what you guys want with me in these interviews, just to be myself. So I think that's what I learned for myself.
Carter, one of the things that you read about your game is how competitive you are and how you from every shift to shift. And I'm just kind of curious for you, is that something that was just as you combine that with your skill as you move up and become an NHL draft prospect, is that something that why did that remain part of your game? And obviously it's one of the things that stood out to the Wings about you. Like for you, that competitiveness every shift, how come that became such a part of your game when you kind of look at your growth and growing up and everything?
I think that's just me being competitive. I think that's just not me not wanting to lose, and I hate losing more than I love winning. So I think that just all comes down of I wanted more. So I think every time I step on the ice, I wanted more than every play on the ice. So I think that's my mindset when I go on the ice, and that's how I think my motor always goes. So.
Every scouting report I read about you talked about, how relentless you were and your drive and your motor. Is that something that you've always been that way, or is that something that you sort of acquired as you've advanced as a player?
I think I advanced that really well when I first got into the league of WHL. My first 16-year-old year, I got sent back home. It wasn't really easy for me. So, going back to Everett, them telling me I'll be a fourth line in a lineup type guy. So I think that's what drives me a lot, and working hard and never taking a shift off. So that's what really building my game, and that's how I grew up as a player. And, I think that's how I learned how to be a fourth line all the way to a first line guy for a power play. So it's definitely some learning stages for sure, and I'm grateful that happens.